ready to share a new story? Well, I have chosen a magic story to share. The title of the book is Magic Nana and the Dragon Telescope. If you have this book at home, you can read along with me. The author, the person who has written this story, is Gareth Edwards, and the illustrator, the person who has drawn all the pictures, is Sarah-Leigh. Now in this story, we're going to meet a little girl called Kirrilly, and she is off to visit her Nana and Grandad. She loves visiting them, but Kirrilly knows a secret about her Nana. Her Nana is magic. Shall we read and find out what happens? Magic Nana and the Dragon Telescope. Kirrilly loved it when she went with her family to visit Nana and Grandad. They didn't live very far away, so the journey never took very long. And Kirrilly spent the whole time thinking about what fun she would get up to when they got there. Nana and Grandad's kitchen always smelt really good because Grandad baked the most delicious cakes, muffins, pies and tarts. Their home had a lovely garden filled with plants and trees and even a pond. There were always lots of birds, butterflies and insects busying about. There were also many little coves and secret hiding places where Kirrilly could sneak off to and explore if she wanted. She especially enjoyed sitting and watching the pond though, and if she sat really still, she could spot frogs and toads as well as her favourite insects, dragonflies. She loved dragonflies. They always darted around so quickly and shone with such brilliantly bright colours, and they had the word dragon in their name. Kirrilly wondered if they were named after actual real dragons. The very best thing about visiting Nana and Grandad, though, was a secret that only she knew. Nobody else in her family knew, and Kirrilly thought that maybe even Grandad didn't know. It was a really special secret. The secret was her Nana was magic. She had once told her mum and dad about Nana's magic, but they didn't believe her, so now she didn't tell anybody. When they arrived at Nana and Grandad's house, the familiar smell of baking wafted out of the kitchen to greet them, followed by Grandad. He was wearing an apron that was covered with flour and cake mix. He ran straight to the car and picked Kirrilly up to give her a huge hug. And as he put her down, he noticed that they were now both covered in flour. "Where's Nana?" Kirrilly asked. Grandad smiled and said, "She's pottering about in her workshop. Run and find her if you like. She'll be happy to see you." With that, Kirrilly ran off, heading down to the bottom of the garden and Nana's workshop. Kirrilly used to think that Nana's workshop was actually just a shed. And when she had asked her about it, Nana told her that sheds were places where people store things, but workshops are where people make things. Nana said that in a workshop you can take some things that are not in themselves very special and put them together in just the right way to make something useful or fun, or sometimes even magic. Kirrilly had laughed when Nana had first told her about magic. She didn't laugh any more though, because now she knew that the magic was real. As Kirrilly got near to Nana's workshop, she shouted out their secret call so that Nana knew who was approaching. Coo-wee! From inside the workshop, Kirrilly heard a coo-wee called back, followed by, "Hello, Kirrilly! Quick, come and see this!" Nana was working on something that looked very complicated. There were lots of tiny pieces laid all over her workbench. Some of the things were shiny and gold, and some were dirty and oily. Kirrilly spotted what looked like a tiny round mirror. "What is it, Nana?" "It's an old telescope," Nana replied. "What are you doing to it, Nana?" Kirrilly asked. She picked up a small eyepiece and raised it to her eye, and then squinted through it. As she turned to face Kirrilly with her other eye shut tight, she looked quite funny. "I'm making a dragon telescope," she said with a big grin. "A dragon telescope?" Kirrilly repeated excitedly. "You mean a telescope to see dragons with?" "Yes, exactly," confirmed Nana. "There's been one flying around for the last couple of days. I'm sure of it, and I'm making this so that we can take a look at it." "Nana, dragons aren't real," Kirrilly said as she folded her arms. "Oh, really? You wait until I fix up this dragon telescope and tell me that again after you've taken a look through it," said Nana with an even bigger grin. Kirrilly didn't think dragons were real. Then she remembered a time when Nana told her she could talk to the birds, but Kirrilly didn't believe her. Nana showed her how, and they took it in turns to whistle a tune with a blackbird in the garden. She also remembered when Nana said that there was a pack of invisible wolves who lived in the quarry, and that they would howl back if she called them. Kirrilly didn't believe her, but then Nana let out a loud "Aroo!" into the quarry, and they both spent an hour howling with the wolves. Kirrilly had learned that sometimes her Nana showed her that some things were real even if she didn't think they were. Dragons, though, she had learnt about them in school when they'd done a project on myths and legends. She thought they were awesome, but her teacher had told them that they weren't real and that they were just from stories. If anybody else had told her that they were going to build a telescope to look at dragons with, she would have thought they were being silly and would have told them so. But because it was Nana who had told her this, she couldn't help but feel very excited about it. Would she really be able to see a dragon? Please could you grab that spanner, Kirrilly? Nana asked as she put two large parts together. And give this nut here a good tighten if you can while I hold this together. Kirrilly tightened where Nana pointed to until it wouldn't turn any more. OK, now let's shine this up a bit, Nana said as she reached for a little bottle from a small shelf. Nana's shelves were full of bottles and jugs filled with different coloured liquids. Now, Kirrilly, you pour a tiny bit of this magic water onto my cloth and then put the stopper back in quickly. It'll make this dragon telescope super bright and shiny. Kirrilly did as she was told and ever so carefully poured a tiny drop onto the cloth, then quickly put the stopper back in. She wondered what made the water magic. Nana began to rub the telescope with the cloth and Kirrilly was amazed when it turned the dull brown colour into a shining, gleaming colour that sparkled and reflected the light almost like a mirror. Is it ready? Is it ready? Kirrilly asked as she hopped about on her feet impatiently. Yes, Nana smiled. Come on, let's go and test it out, shall we? Yes, yes, let's! Kirrilly shrieked. As they walked out into the garden, Nana looked up into the sky and said to herself, Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Kirrilly looked up too, but couldn't see anything. She looked all over the sky, but there were no dragons. OK, we'll wait by here. I think that the dragon is going to come flying by any minute, said Nana. And with that, she sat down on the grass with her legs crossed. Kirrilly sat down beside her, and they waited, and waited, and waited. Nana, are we really going to see a dragon? Kirrilly asked. Shh, Nana said. Look. Kirrilly looked up to where Nana was pointing, but she didn't see a dragon. She could only see a black feathered bird flying by. Probably a crow, she thought. That's not a dragon, Nana. That's a crow, Kirrilly said disappointedly. Actually, Kirrilly, it is a raven. It's much bigger than a crow, and just wait until you see it through this telescope, said Nana as she handed it to Kirrilly. Kirrilly put the telescope to her eye and looked up towards the raven. To her surprise, it wasn't a raven that she saw through the telescope, but a huge golden dragon. Nana! Nana! It is a dragon! I can see it! It is huge and golden! Oh, wow! Kirrilly said excitedly. Quick, you take a look! She passed the telescope over to Nana, who raised it to her eye and said, Yep, I thought so. It is a big golden one. Wow, what a beauty! Wow, what a beauty! Oh, off it goes. Kirrilly looked up into the sky but couldn't see anything now, not even the raven. "Where is it?" she asked. "It's gone now," replied Nana. "They never hang around for very long. We were really very lucky to see it at all." "I want to see it again. Was it real, Nana? Is it magic?" asked Kirrilly. With that, Nana looked at Kirrilly with a little smile and a twinkle in her eye and said, "Kirrilly, my dear, your imagination is the most magical thing there is. With it, anything you want can be real. Always remember that." Kirrilly smiled back at Nana and, giving her a big hug, she said, "Thanks for showing me the dragon, Nana." Oh, what a wonderful magic story that was! Lucky Kirrilly! She got to see the most beautiful golden dragon in the sky. Was it magic or was it real? I wonder, with your imagination, if you had magic powers, what would you like to be able to see? I hope you've enjoyed today's Shed Time story, and if you want to, you can like, share, follow and subscribe to Shed Time Stories, and then you will be ready for the next book by